front of the 12s, but what is it about this defense at this time that makes it a good fit for you?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, Cliff went down, and it opened up a spot for me. You never want to see a guy go down. And we're all kind of brothers in this league, and I've actually known Cliff for a while. So that kind of bothered me to see him that, and I always wanted to play with him. That being said, I'm happy to be here, and just trying to go out and do what I do. And try to help this team win however I can. I've always wanted to play here. In a sense, once I left Indianapolis, I was like, man, it would be special to play in Seattle. And one of the reasons being is because of, just the mentality on defense. It kind of gets lost sometimes in the league now these days of offensive, high-powered offense. And I'm not saying by any means that our offense isn't good, but I think it's a little something different on defense in this city and how the 12th man really rises up and gets behind their D. And I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Did you have some other offers, or what was it about Seattle and right now?
Well, I had some other offers, and I turned some of those down. It was always Atlanta. Atlanta was the last team, and they decided to go in a different direction. And I think it lined up actually perfectly. I was literally 1 week away. I was like, if I don't get a call now, I can't go into that same gym and work out doing the same workout again. So thank God, those guys called me, and they said they had interest. So it kind of pushed me another week to work out, and get going. So, I'm here now, and I'm excited, and hopefully we can get a win this weekend.
Jim, and what was your workout?
Well, multiple gyms. So when you don't have a team, you just can't go to the team, the team that you last played with. So there'll be multiple gyms wherever I could find it. I get creative, and I think over the years you start getting more creative. You find a hill, run up the hill, go run down. You find a street no one's on, run down the street, come back. Do whatever you got to do to stay active and keep yourself interested. And that's pretty much what I did.
You know yourself better than anybody else. How can you best help the team? Is there a snap count? Is there a position? Is there a situation that you're going to fit best in right now?
Well, I'm going to leave that up to the coaches. Honestly, it's not my decision, but I do know what I offer to a team, and that's leadership on and off the field. I can get into those younger guys' head and mind and kind of get those guys thinking around the same ways that you're supposed to be thinking, in the right ways of how to play the game and the things that you do and what you don't do. Obviously things that I love to do is rush the passer, so I'm obviously going to be able to help the team do that. And that doesn't mean I'm against playing the run, because I love playing the run. It's just that I guess the getting out the quarterback is a little bit more high publicized than just stopping a run on a 1-yard gain or something.
From what you've seen of the playbook so far, is the scheme similar to what you played last year in Atlanta?
And that's another reason why I decided to come here, is because I knew it wouldn't be a whole stock change where I had to completely reinvent the wheel here as far as learning what's going on. So there's a lot of similar things that I did last year, so I should be able to help these guys rather quickly.
A lot of guys who are younger than you are retiring early because they're worried about the long-term consequences of football. Do you have any apprehension about extending your career as long as you have?
Well, I think it's too late now, right? that boat done sailed about 5-6 years ago. So for me, man, I'm just out there playing. I'm out there playing, loving the game. I love what I do, and like I said, you don't have to pay me for Sunday. I do that for free. But Monday through Saturday, you have to pay me just a little bit to do that. But like I said, it's a dangerous game. We all know that. I think we've learned more. When I first came in the league, it really wasn't something that you talked about. And you got done, you saw 2 people, you just shake your head until you see one and get them back on the field and make a play. And now it's like, you see 2, you better sit down. And that's obviously, taking steps in the right direction here. And I'm just happy to be around, man, in year 16.
Hey, Dwight, where were you when you were trying to figure out your next step, and what were you doing outside of football-related stuff?
A lot of golf, a lot of golf rounds. I was in Newport. I did some, Cali, where the sun's always shining. So whenever I didn't get the call, I looked up and said, okay, well, there's blue skies and the sun's shining. And everybody seems like they're in a good mood, so I might as well try to be. And I was there for about 2 months. And then I went to Indianapolis, old stomping grounds. I went to see my boy Peyton, and watched him get the statue up in front of the stadium and kind of reconnected with a lot of guys that I used to play with. Kind of made me feel kind of bad in a sense, because they're all retired now and I'm the only one still playing. But, in the end, it was a good experience. I stayed there for a couple months. And then I got the call.
How's your golf game, gotta ask?
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. Right now it was horrible, so I got the call at the right time.
Did you reach out to Raheem Brock at all to figure out what it's like?
Yeah, man. He hit me up immediately, and that's my boy Raheem. And he told me, he said, "You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it." He used to brag about it too. When I was in Indy, he was like, "Oh man, you really need to come to Seattle." I'm like, Seattle. It's so different. Because it's so far away from what we know. And he's from Philly. I'm from Connecticut. We're East Coast guys, and he's talking about the furthest west you can possibly get. And hey, you got to go to Seattle. I'm like, man, look, what are you talking about? So now I'm here, and I already feel how special a place this is. I mean, it reminds me a lot of New England, how the foliage and the leaves and just the weather, the people. I'm excited, man.
When Atlanta let you go, how and why did you decide to continue to play this year?
Well, I mean, they didn't necessarily let me go. It was a one-year deal. So they kind of basically said, you know what, we're going to re-sign you at some point. And I sat there and said, okay, great, sounds good. Okay, here comes training camp. I don't want to do that. And he's like, oh, Dwight, you don't want to do training camp? No, I really don't. And so it kind of became one of those games where I'm waiting around, and then, football happens. And when I say that, people get hurt, things happen, they don't have room on the roster at the time. Maybe they have interest in other guys, and I got caught up in that mix a little bit. So it was a little frustrating for me because, I like to get out there a little bit early, kind of get my feet settled and foundation set and get to know the guys and all of that and get back on track. So it was a little waiting game. It was week by week. Yeah, Dwight, it'll be this week. It'll be week 2. And after week 2 goes by, I'm like, okay, what happened? Well, we can't do it this week. That's how the process went. So, it took, 6 weeks, 7 weeks until I said, all right, well, I got to go somewhere else, and then Seattle called.
In 2015, you kind of jumped in partway through the season with Arizona. Is that having that experience help you now, just that, you can kind of pick it up?
It helped a lot. It really helped a lot. I came in middle of the season. I think it was probably a week earlier, and it was just like, full-fledged 0 to 100. All right, I went from having my feet on the couch, worried about, why I'm slicing the ball, to, all right, I got to learn a whole playbook, figure out how I'm going to help these teams win. And the thing is, Arizona, it was a lot tougher because of the transition. What they do defensively was completely foreign to me. So I had to take a lot of time. So once I accomplished that, I knew if I could do it there, where their Wednesday playbook is the size of a dictionary, I can do it here, where it's similar to what I did in Atlanta. So all the terminology is pretty much the same.
When you mentioned your leadership.
Dwight's got to get going.
Okay.
He's got to get going. Right?
Want to do it?
Want to do it? One last question.
Good.
When you mention your leadership and providing that, who taught you how to do that in the locker room?
Well, it's just the vets. I was blessed. I was around Tony Dungy, Coach Dungy, and Chad Bratsky. We had some great guys who've either played in the league before, had a lot of years in the league, and you sit there and watch them soak it up. I was around great vets like Peyton Manning and those types of guys, so I can sit there and absorb what they did, and understood what the things were to do right and wrong off and on the field and off the field. So, after all those years being in that type of organization where doing the right thing is is kind of like what you do. It's not like a decision. This is what we do here, and if you decide to go off that path, you won't be here. And I was 11 years of that. So I have a really solid foundation of doing things the right way. So now I can rub off and teach some of these younger guys that kind of don't understand or what to do or what have you. Okay.
Thank you.